everybody. We are here a matter of months away from the Southeastern BBQ Showdown, the inaugural event that's going to take place in Segra Park, the home of the Fireflies in Columbia, South Carolina. And this is going to be a barbecue event like no other. It's going to be inside a baseball stadium. It's going to be 25 all-star teams competing head to head to become that inaugural champion. And there's going to be exciting components that I can't quite tell you about yet. One being the headliner for the concert. This is one you're not going to want to miss because they are legendary. But what I can do is introduce you to some of the people that are going to be at the event, some of the people that kind of are in that barbecue world to talk about what that means. And first up, here on the Southeastern BBQ Showdown behind the plate is a celebrity chef that has, let's see, been a finalist on Next Food Network Star, has beaten Bobby Flay, and went head to head in a showdown on television, big time throwdown, and won. And a good friend of mine, celebrity chef Jay Ducote. How are you, sir?
I'm well, Mark. Good to see you, bud.
Man, good to see you. I mean, it's a good start to a year here in 2024 where you and I both are kind of bouncing all over the place, and you're fresh off, your annual tradition of celebrating Mardi Gras.
Yeah, just wrapped up Mardi Gras here in South Louisiana today. That we're recording this is technically Ash Wednesday for those who celebrate. Fat Tuesday was yesterday, so been a big Mardi Gras season, but ready to kind of move into crawfish season and the spring, which brings barbecue season here in Louisiana as well.
I mean, all of that it's just that it's all around food. Everything we do, in one way or another is around food. And one of the biggest genres of food, kind of, lifeblood of food, if you will, is barbecue. What is barbecue to you?
Yeah, I think that's absolutely right. Certainly around the southern United States, but really around the whole country, and then around the world, you find different methods of barbecue and grilling, and so I do distinguish between the two, between barbecue and grilling. Grilling being a hot and fast cooking method, barbecue being low and slow. But both versions of outdoor cooking, where you're using a hardwood or coals or live fire and creating smoke as one of your elements, and really kind of a little bit more bringing food back to its caveman roots to a degree. But you can do it with so many things. It's such a versatile cooking genre as well. Obviously the big American money meats, the briskets and the pork butts and the whole chickens or slabs of ribs. Those are quintessential barbecue to me. But there's so many other directions you can go with it as well, and I love it all, man. I play around with it all the time. I've got multiple grills and smokers and cookers in my backyard where I am right now, and then some fire pits where I could do some live fire cooking too. So it's all fun.
I mean, it really is. And you're right. There is that distinction between grilling and barbecue, but we use that term kind of for everything. And I think at the end of the day, that term is about getting people around, eating together, enjoying each other's company, sharing stories, probably telling some tall tales. But, barbecue, true barbecue is that low and slow method. Typically, when you're really, really controlling those temperatures, because you don't, like you said, you don't want anything to get too hot too fast. You want to break down all of those proteins in a nice low, slow method. What are some of the barbecue events you've been to and some of the things you've seen when you go?
Yeah, I've done a number of barbecue competitions here in Louisiana. The Hammond Blues and Barbecue Festival, Hogs for the Cause in New Orleans is one of the biggest ones. It's an all pig cook off. So whole hog and pork shoulder and ribs, and then they do other stuff in just lanyap, as we would say in Louisiana, where you're using pork in some way. That's a big charity cook off in New Orleans. That's a really big deal that I love. Of course, you and I see each other every year at the World Food Championships, and there's always
Hmm.
multiple categories of barbecue and live fire cooking there at the World Food Championships. And then I've been around the country and checked out. I haven't cooked in at the Jack or Memphis in May or the Royal, but I know about a lot of those competitions and have been to some of them as a spectator, and getting to go around and talk to different barbecue teams and see what all they're doing. It's really really cool stuff when you're at one of those barbecue competitions like what's coming to South Carolina in June.
I mean, that's right. We're going to be inside Segra Park, home of the Fireflies, which is a minor league baseball team. And there's going to be vendors of all kinds. We're looking forward to some exciting products and companies that are going to be there. Fantastic sponsor partners that are going to be all around the park. But it's really going to come down to that barbecue. The public is going to be able to come in, sample barbecue from some of our champions, and really get to understand what not only food sport is about, but maybe we're going to have a lot of people that have never been to one of these barbecue festivals before, and they're going to see something like they've never seen. Number one, you're going to walk into a sports stadium for food sport, which just is a natural transition. But there's going to be music, there's going to be food, there's going to be activities and games. It's really going to be something for the whole family to attend. And, you know, but again, it's gonna smell amazing. That's one of the things that I think when I go to these barbecue events that always catches my attention first is the smell of the smoke, the smell of those proteins, and just the gregarious nature of everybody there. So I think that's one of those things for me that I always latch onto is just the entire immersive atmosphere there. What's your favorite of those big proteins you talked about?
Well, I'm a brisket guy. That Texas style whole briskets is really my jam. I've got a big reverse flow offset smoker that will burn some wood, and you get that heavy smoke ring on the outside of the briskets, and you get that airflow going just right, and that's really. Um, my favorite crown jewel of barbecue is the brisket. I'm also a big ribs guy. Pork ribs, St. Louis cut spare ribs is what I try to do the most. And I mean I love just chowing down on some ribs. So those are definitely my top two.
And those are definitely things we're going to see out of these competitors. We're going to have the Champions Barbecue Alliance as our sanctioning body that's going to judge all of the competitors' entries. They're going to tabulate the scores, and then the top five are going to go into another competition to determine the champion, which is
Nice.
put together their best composed plate. So, kind of like in baseball, where you have a five tool player, we're going to find out who the five tool barbecue champs are. And then that's going to be judged by a live panel. So, you're going to kind of get traditional barbecue competition as well as what we've come to know as kind of the crown jewel of food sport, which is that composed dish in front of a live panel. You've judged on those live panels before. What are some of the things that you look for when you do that?
Yeah, I've been fortunate enough to judge on quite a few of those style live panels at WFC and other food sport competitions, as well as you mentioned earlier, cooking on a lot of Food Network shows and things like that. But the judging for those things is, it's part of the interactive process, and you really got to put a lot of thought and critique into what you're eating, positive and certainly calling out the negative where it is. But you're always looking for exciting combinations of flavors and textures. I want a nice balance of sweet and salty and savory, that umami, especially in barbecue. You really want to get that. I really like having in a composed dish like that on a live judging panel, different textural components on that plate where you're getting something creamy, you're getting something chewy, you're getting something crunchy, a lot of times all in the same bite that really gives your mouth that whole experience of eating something really tasty.
And that's the thing. And you talk to barbecue teams, and I have for a few years now, and they've said over and over again, we want to show that we can cook. We are not just a styrofoam box.
Yeah.
We want to show we can cook, put the full plate together. And that's why we wanted to kind of determine our champion based on their ability to really put together a fully composed dish. I mean, I'm excited for just being able to wander around and meet with the teams. And that's one of the things, too. When you go to a barbecue event, the teams are having a ball. They're excited. They're fan friendly. They're the type of people that as you walk up, they want to tell you what's going on in their pits right then. They want to tell you what they're doing. It's almost the best of all sports worlds where you get to meet the people that you're a fan of and they actually want to interact with you.
Yeah. Yeah, I completely agree with that. The barbecue community is always so welcoming and so friendly and so much fun to be around. So when you put 25 barbecue teams around the outfield of a baseball stadium, and you just have that festive atmosphere, and like you mentioned earlier, the wafts of barbecue smoke filling the stadium, and even from the parking lot, people are going to be able to smell that barbecue. And then you walk into a baseball stadium where this barbecue competition is going to be held. I'm really looking forward to being there and looking forward to getting to hang out with you and to see what all's going down at this barbecue showdown. It's going to be cool.
It's going to be a blast. And Jay, you like we said, we talked about at the opening of the show, all these different things that you've been up to and the things that you get to do. What kind of things are you up to in 2024 as you continue this meteoric rise as a culinary celebrity?
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, at the very end of last year, I won an episode of Super Chef Grudge Match on Food Network. So that was my latest national TV appearance, which was pretty cool. I've got a lot going on this year, especially in the private chef and catering world, doing quite a few big, fancier, truly composed dinners for hundreds of people for big charity events and other stuff like that, and just a lot of other, I guess, to pay the bills, a private chef and catering spotlights, but then also a lot of travel and media stuff as well. I'm going to try to be at the National Restaurant Association show with you in May, and then be with you again in June in South Carolina for this event. And then pretty much the whole month of July, I'm going to be in Puerto Rico, which I'm pretty excited about. I've never been to Puerto Rico before, and I'm going for a travel media conference, and then I'm going to stick around for another 3 weeks and just eat and drink my way around San Juan and the rest of the island. So that should be pretty exciting. I need to connect with some of our cooking teams that we've met before over there, and see who I can go check out their food actually in Puerto Rico. And then I'm in Williamsport, Pennsylvania, teaching a college class the month of September. So that'll be pretty exciting as well. I'll be there for, speaking of baseball, be there for the Little League World Series, and then stick around and teach a college class about alcohol, mostly entrepreneurship and alcohol. And then I'll be back in Louisiana for the rest of football season. And as far as I know, and the fall always just picks up and builds steam and builds momentum all the way into the holidays. So when I look at it like that, the whole year is kind of planned out already, but there's a lot of moving parts in there and a lot of different places that I'll be.
And those things are so exciting. And Puerto Rico, absolutely one of my favorite places in the world to be. The food there is amazing. The beaches, the people, the resiliency. It's just an incredible place. Where can people follow you on social media?
Yeah, it's Jay Ducote on pretty much everything. At Facebook.com/Chef Jay Ducote. But if you just search Jay Ducote, you'll find it, JayDucote, on Instagram or Twitter/X or TikTok. It's just at Jay Ducote. And then I have a travel page as well. That's Jay Ducote Travel on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter as well. So follow along all those. But if you just search for my name, you'll find my website and all the links to everything there.
Well, guys, that is our first episode of Behind the Plate. with celebrity chef Jay Ducote. And you can follow the Southeastern BBQ Showdown on Facebook and Instagram at Southeastern BBQ Showdown. And remember, caring is sharing. You want your friends there, you want your family there. Share out the pages, follow along, because we're going to have some massive announcements coming very shortly. And then every week, you'll be able to watch another episode of Behind the Plate at the Southeastern BBQ Showdown. Chef Jay, thanks so much for being on.
My pleasure, Mark.
And guys, I'll see you next week.